Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and I'm going to go over this weekend's events at the Desert Scale Classic because I went and I had a really good time, and just want to share with you a little bit of that. There were other YouTubers there, and I know a lot of their videos are already hitting YouTube, of course, right away. I mean, I don't really work that fast, but that's not about being first to me anyway. I had a really good time. Really enjoyed the show. It was a very long day. And first, I did bring home a trophy. This is, but because the way the Desert Scale Classic is set up, and I'm actually a member of the host club, the Cactus Car Modelers, our models don't compete against everybody else. So that those of you who don't know, what that show does is the host club, we have a separate table for all of our builds. Anybody who enters a model kit can judge ours and pick ours. So it's more of a people's choice when it comes to our builds. So I'm really only competing against the other club members, so I'm not competing against everybody else. So not to take anything away from the trophy, because I really like the trophy, and I got best paint, club entry best paint. So everybody picked, this one was the top pick for best paint. And those of you who've seen it, you kind of know what I've been through to build this thing, and I'm very grateful, and I think it's awesome. But on the other hand, since I don't compete against the others, and I will say, Chuck from Chuck's Hobby Spot, he's on YouTube, of course. He built some awesome models, and his paint jobs are just unbelievable. And then same thing with James Tester and from Scale Model Experiment. You've seen his builds, and many others that build some awesome cars and some awesome paint jobs. I really don't think I compare to them. To be completely honest, I mean, I'd love to win against them, but I really don't compete to compete. So it's really not, and I really don't polish my builds. I will if there's some really bad areas, but for the most part, I just leave them here because I use real automotive clear and it lays down really nice. But still cherish my trophy. They always mean something to me. But I'm not competing against those guys, and I would love to. So maybe another, show or sometime. Who knows? But I really don't, take any of that seriously. So it's just a lot of fun. But seeing their models, and even the lowriders, the paint jobs that those guys lay down, oh my God. But anyway, also hanging out at the swap meet and seeing all of that stuff. So I get a little bit of grief every now and then because I don't show my stash or my hauls. I did come up with 4 kits. So I'll show you what I got and the deals that were made, and some of the other things that went on there. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. All right, so first thing, hanging out with everybody, especially the vendor area, and catching up with some friends I haven't seen in a while and some I haven't talked to in a while. We have a lot of YouTubers here in the Valley, which is kind of cool, and so I got to hang out with a lot of those guys. I mentioned Chuck from Chuck's Hobby Spot, and then Brian BG Model Works, and he gave me this hat. I will not bow down to any sponsor. So I was wearing this for a little while and walking around with it, just having a good old time. But he gave me a hat, so that's kind of fun. And then also James Tester from Scale Model Experiment, I mentioned him. Jonathan from Feedin's Garage was there. And even another guy, Toby, that we know, he's in the clubs and he builds a lot of models. He's got a YouTube channel, but he doesn't really focus on model cars. It's Exploring with Mr. Nobody. But we got his channel. And then also Lucas C was there, made a rare personal appearance. But he came out to the show as well and got to hang out with all those guys and talk YouTube with them. And it was really cool. So all those guys, I'm sure they've got their channel videos up already, because they work a lot faster than I do when it comes to getting a video out, where I do every Saturday and I take my time. So a lot of times, like, you'll be seeing this Saturday, but it's actually Monday for me, and you'll see it Saturday, so it'll be a while before it's out. But and I'll have a large slideshow afterwards of a lot of the photos I took. But I did get some kits, so I'll show you what I scored at the swap meet. Even though I get a lot of grief that I don't share the spoils, as I mentioned. So first one I'll talk about is right here. Grab this one. This is the Ball in Motion Drag Cobra, and there's a lot of unique parts in this kit. So when I saw this kit sitting there, first thing I did was flipped it over, was looking in the bag. I don't see it right now, it's right here. I made sure the top was in there because I have a built up that's missing the top. I didn't build it. I want to build another one. I actually have another one of these kits in my stash, but for this guy was asking $10. So I couldn't pass that up, so I'm like, I want that. And then he also had this Testra's Porsche 911 Turbo. And I built this kit as a kid. I picked up another one over 10 years ago that was missing decals. And it wasn't until about last year that I finally found the actual decals for it. It's kind of a funny story. And then I saw this kit sitting there from the same seller, asking $10 back to kit. And I kind of looked it over real quick, but I'm like, for that, this is parts. Spare parts just to play with it in case I break something or mess something up. I've got extra parts now. And there's a lot of parts in here. And I already couldn't set it down. I already cut the trunk open, glued the headlights in, started sanding on it because I've been kind of itching to build it lately. Glued these on and started working on the body parts. Like I mentioned, there's the hood and just all the stuff. Just started playing with it. So that's just me. I do that on occasion, kind of start a kit and just playing with that. But you know, the seller, I got both of these for $15, so $7.50 a piece. So quite a steal, and really happy with those scores. And then same thing with this one. If you know me and you've seen enough of my channel, I love my GT40s. I love their history. I just am a history buff for automotive history anyway. You see that on the channel. And I don't have this particular version, but I'm probably not going to build it as this. But this is actually the '66 Sebring car, and it was leading the race and everything, but it broke down, and there was an actual controversial finish, which may let me build this car to its livery, because this is actually it's blue with white stripes. The blue just jumped out of my head, but anyway. And this is the one that Lee Miles, he broke down, and the GT40 that shot past him was actually a GT40 Roadster, and it was the only winning. That was a Little Red. I'm going to build that model car, and I've got the resin parts to do it. But that was the only win for Little Red, which was a Mark II Roadster. That car doesn't exist today. But he pushed this one across the finish line and was literally like second place, but he was disqualified for doing that. So that's this particular car livery and everything in this blue. So, and then seller was asking $35 for this, and you know, he was willing to wheel and deal, and he said $20 and I can have it. So $20, I couldn't pass this up, and it's complete. Nothing wrong with it other than the decals are petrified, but this car is not started. Everything's in here, but the decals are actually shot. You can see them right here. They're cracking and coming apart, but not a big deal. Getting decals for these GT40 kits is not an issue, and most of the Fujimi ones that I've run into, the decals aren't all that great. And this is the Revell version from like 1989. This is pretty old as far as how long it's been out. And the last one I picked up right here is the '64 Impala Lowrider, Impala SS. And I've been craving wanting to do a lowrider, and I bought the lowrider tires and wheels at Pegasus Hobbies. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, but I've been craving doing a lowrider. And I actually have one of these kits. So, but the thing was, the lowrider parts have become kind of valuable, which is why these go for a lot of money that people are asking on eBay. It blows me away. Even the seller at the swap meet, this thing is sealed, nothing taken out of it, and issued in 2001, but it's been reissued like 1 or 2 times. So on eBay they're crazy, but even at the swap meet, the guy was asking $50 for it. So I was like, all right, well, we'll see what what happens. So talked to him, and I ended up getting it for $30. So I'm pretty happy with that. So for $65, I got all of these kits. So I'm really happy with that. And just for reference, my other one, I took all the lowrider parts out of it, and I turned around and sold them on eBay. And I think I got like $20. This was a long time ago, like about 10 years ago when I first got the kit. And that one I plan to build as a stone stock SS Impala. And I believe this has a 327, but I wanted to do a regular SS. And so I kept the stock parts, but turned around and sold the lowrider wheels, the suspension, and the pumps and stuff that come in the trunk. And for me, the appeal of building a lowrider, I don't really want to do all of the custom stuff, all the crazy stuff. I pretty much kind of want to build it right out of the box, but I want to do a really nice paint job and challenge myself on the paint job. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but that's kind of my main motivation for building a lowrider, especially when I see the ones that are at the show and the paint jobs that they do. So with all that in mind, this is what I got away with at the show. Didn't go crazy. I've got a pretty good stash as it is. So these are just some of the things. I had a few kits in mind I was keeping my eyes open for, but really didn't see those. There were some very rare kits. There's a lot of videos popping up about the show. So mine, I'm going to do a slideshow with music. So the rest of this video is going to get the slideshow of all the photos I took, and I'm going to put it to music. So enjoy that. I appreciate it. And you guys, I'll see you again. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday. But enjoy the slideshow and the music.